What's up guys, my name is Drake and today I've just done some math and it turns out I've played almost 3,000 games of Fortnite and estimated about 350 hours. Now with that being said, that doesn't make me the most experienced player by any means or the greatest Fortnite player, but I think it gives me some room to show some improvement that I've made and just some tips that I've learned over these games. Now also, don't forget, if you enjoy these videos, we're always trying to grow the subscriber count, and if you want to see more videos like this, just subscribe and leave a like, all that stuff. Any criticism or just upbeat stuff you want to put it in the comments, please feel free. And with that being said, let's jump into the first tip. Alright, so we're jumping into a playground game real quick. That's where most of these tips are going to take place. And my first tip right now is the low ground warrior tip. Basically what that means is you're going to land on the bottom of the house. That way you're not relying on a chest on the top of the roof that you have to break through and everything like that. What I prefer to do is what you'll do, land under at the very bottom floor and you'll have all the instant loot, so you can just run and get a gun. There's no gun up there, and then whoever landed on the roof, you can just charge right up, go up, and then boom, that's the easiest fight, because by that time they won't be able to drink shields, they'll be too confused on what's happening, and you'll get a pretty easy kill. And that's just pretty much the first tip. I always find landing at the bottom of the house ensures survival a little bit better than on the roof, just because if there's no chest up there, you're screwed. If the chest has bad loot, you're screwed. But if you land on the bottom floor, there's usually gonna be a little more than one gun or whatnot. So yeah, there's that tip, and that's what I think is the best way when you're first landing. And I was going to make a few tips on keybinds and stuff like that, but there's too large of a variety and it is way too subjective to make any useful tips on it. So just be willing to change them if you think you can improve, and that's about it. Always be willing to change. And with that being said, let's jump into the second tip. Alright, now this is kind of obvious and most people know how to do it, so I won't qualify this as its own tip, but basically always hit the targets if you can, and that's about it. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, but it saves so much time if you just hit the targets and everything like that. Now, as you can see, we have a double ramp right here. Why? Well, that's because if a decent player approaches you for a build fight, something like that, they will usually use a double ramp so they don't shoot you, so you don't shoot them out, and they'll try and push over you. So what some people will do, I'm guilty of this myself, is they will counter double ramp, but by that time the other player has already done his whole routine of the double ramp and has high ground. So what you want to do is instantly, he has high ground, so he's not going to be shooting you out from the ramp. Most likely is you want to contest with a single ramp, just in case you're not quick enough. You want to be able to take high ground as quickly as possible, and not spending the extra time to place two ramps is definitely going to help with that. And another thing, I guess this qualifies as 3 tips. Always build at the 90 degree, not the 180. Not always, but this is very useful. Once you have it, a lot of people will do that. They'll do a 180 and then just take high ground this way. Oh shit, I've changed my full screen thing. That was not intentional. And then they'll try and take like this, but obviously if you're doing that, it wastes extra mats and it just takes longer. So what you should be doing, Bionic talks about this in his video, which I'll leave in the description. Basically, you're gonna run up and you want to do this and instantly obviously you want to be higher up. You can instantly turn around, place a wall and a ramp, jump up, and then half the time, and then the second they start shooting at you, you do this again. Now, if you have high ground, they're way below you, everything like that, they're going to try and shoot you down. One thing I recommend doing is you take the high ground from them, and this is when it can actually be useful to double ramp. If they're still not the fastest builders, this is a good time to use the 180 jump up and then double ramp, because it'll take them longer to shoot out. Once you're over them, just boom, start shooting. I don't have a gun, probably should have gotten one. And that's another tip I recommend doing. It's just it's all around a pretty useful thing to do if you're trying to take high ground, not get shot out, because obviously a lot of people will do that mid-build fight just to take you down. That way, easy high ground. Now, obviously, if they have like a grappler or anything like that, they will take high ground from you. It's hard to fight against a grappler if you don't have one yourself. And that is another tip I recommend. Alright, so another thing I recommend is to always be using playground. If you have free time and you're just tired of getting killed, whatever it is, and you still want to improve on the game, but you just keep dying early game and you're not getting the time to build, you're getting killed by other players who got a gun first, always be using playground, because if you say want to learn this technique, which I'm not the most proficient at because I never really use this, it can be useful, but I've never found a use for it thus far. I have been shot out before, so this might be a good thing to start using, but that's about it. And also, replay mode is going to be so useful, because if you are in this situation, oh my god, this recording software, always clicking on it, it is the most annoying thing sometimes. If, say there's a P90 spammer on the other side of that wall, and you're just here spamming walls, click, 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 and they're still getting through. You were in a box trying to med, are still getting through, and you can't do anything. It's so easy to just do this, edit your way out, I've messed myself up, and just build over them. And then boom, instant high ground, you start shooting them down, and then it's an easy kill. That's one reason I like replay mode, is because you may not have noticed that. And if you see something that seemed very unfair to you and you think you should have won, watch the replay mode and just criticize what you think you could have done. Like, say you were just building up, you lose high ground. You lose high ground because you double ramped. Look at it, say, oh, I was wasting time double ramping, I should have single ramped. Now that's just an example that I'm using because I've already used it and I think it works in this scenario. And that's the other main thing I wanted to say. Now these are the really important tips that will make you improve greatly as a Fortnite player. Now obviously I could tell you the basic tips of jump over the water if you're landing directly off the bus, which you should, because instantly you're in the most populated area you can be, or tilted. Maybe there won't be as many people here as, say, tilted towers, but you'll always have a fight ready to take, and take every fight you can if you're trying to improve. If you're trying to improve, then getting into fights is so important, because obviously you can 1v1 in playground with your friends, which I also recommend if they're, say, a little better than you, or maybe you're helping them improve once you've gotten really good. Your friends will always be a challenge if they're better than you, but challenge someone even better, and then you'll improve quicker and maybe be as good as them if you're challenging someone better than them. Right? Does that make sense? And that's one thing I recommend. I also can't seem to find out which thing you place first. Is it the ramp or the wall? I don't know. I don't think it's that important, honestly. Like, obviously, it will change certain things. Now, another thing I recommend, always be positive. If you're getting mad at the game, throwing your controller or whatnot, cursing out the game, rage quitting, stop for a little bit. Go watch a streamer, watch a YouTube video, anything like that. Just calm down and you'll do better, because if you're just constantly getting mad, you won't improve. It will take a much longer time, and it will just be a very miserable experience. Trust me, I've done it before. Also, watch people who are better than you. Obviously, if you enjoy them. If they're like the most boring thing in the world and you just can't watch them for more than 5 minutes, don't watch them. But I know for a fact that majority or almost everyone that I watch is better than me in some aspect, and watch them do that and then try and get as good as them at that certain thing. And that's about it for the tips, because those are the main important things you need to know, and I think those are all the things to listen to. Obviously, the people you're watching, you can always learn from them. That's why I recommend watching multiple people who have multiple different play styles, because there's always something to learn. No matter who you are, there's always something to learn. I don't care if you're Ninja or Tfue. I guarantee you they could watch a bunch of other streamers and see something that they're not doing that they think could be more efficient. And with that being said, just don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more content similar to this, or just some normal Fortnite gameplays and everything. Stay tuned for new series. And yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, slap the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.